What's up guys, welcome back to Destiny Updates. There's some very exciting stuff in this week's Bungie Weekly update, especially regarding something coming 8 weeks from now. Let's go through it. First off, Deej said Luke Smith came by his desk and started chatting with him. He said, "Can you feel it? This is my favorite part. These next 8 weeks are where it all comes together. Closing at Bungie is when we look at the game we have now, the people we have here, and the time we have left on the clock to make what our fans will call Destiny." He went on to say, "The people here are about to be a part of something that is a once-in-a-career opportunity. We have to use what little time we have left. I can't wait to see how we're going to land it." So that was the first 8 weeks mention. You can see he talked a lot about the game's closing and how these next 8 weeks are really an important time. Deej then adds, "This great time of reckoning will not be the end of our journey. If you're thinking you're 2 months away from seeing this game on your shelf, I'm still here to ask you to put on the brakes. The next phase awaits, in which you'll be invited to launch headlong into the world we've constructed, like a test pilot clad in exotic armor." Now if you weren't already thinking it, that sounds a lot like a beta to me. Let's keep going though, there's some more interesting stuff. He posted comments from a bunch of employees recounting their pentathlon experiences. If you didn't know, the pentathlon is their yearly in-studio competition, which occurred a little over a week ago. Basically, they divide the studio into 4 teams: the newbies, middle school, old school, and the grizzled ancients. Then they compete in gaming events of all types, including Destiny. I'll try to break down the interesting Destiny-related bits they talked about. First, Luke Smith says watching them tackle their first raid was incredible, both for the reasons we think and the reasons we don't. And then Jake Lauer adds to that by essentially saying that it was really challenging. Each move must be calculated, every shot accurate, and the timing precise. So reinforcing what we've heard about raids all along, a much more challenging veterans game mode. After that, Daniel Akinpau, I hope I didn't butcher his name too badly, talked about a Shrike race they had on Venus. Racing across the planet, they worked as a team, taking jumps and hitting checkpoints. This sounds like a ton of fun, and I really hope this is a fully integrated minigame type thing in Destiny, which it sounds like it is, since they were getting checkpoints. So I'm quite excited for that. Next, Greg Rekwa owned the entire enemy team in the final seconds of the game by flanking them with his hand cannon. And then John Harris, who was on the team that got destroyed, said they were up by 200 points, with 12 seconds on the clock. He told everyone to hide, but they didn't, and then Greg killed them all and won the game. That gives us a vague idea of the point structure. I mean, we know it isn't 1 point per kill, that's for sure. Now that was pretty much everything from the pentathlon. Middle school did win by a significant margin though, so congrats to them. Now let's move on to the mail sack. Jez asks if we can customize our ghost. Naturally, Deej didn't answer, only replying with, "Very interesting question." I definitely do believe the ghost will be customizable though, it would only make sense. Celiax Green asks if they'll allow gamers to stream the beta on Twitch. Deej says they'll not only allow it, but amplify it. Some will even be selected to play it with them, as they wage war with and against the community for the first time. He also linked their Twitch, twitch.tv/Bungie, and said keep an eye on it. I believe Deej himself will be streaming the beta there, which is awesome. That Space Wizard then asks if our service years on Bungie.net will be reflected in-game in any way. Deej answers yep. So obviously no details, but that's still pretty cool. I definitely think Bungie.net will be heavily integrated into Destiny. Then Sect79 says all the trailers and in-game screenshots so far have looked really awesome. Will the final build next-gen product look as clean and smooth as what we've been shown? Deej says that what we've seen is not even their final form, indicating that the final product may look even slightly better than what we've seen, which is exciting. After that, Kotu asks about GDC and what we can expect. Deej says it all depends on how curious you are. The Game Developers Conference is, in his words, where alpha geeks converge to discuss their craft. But if that wasn't clear, GDC is the Game Developers Conference, and it is really based on the development side of things, not the consumer. Don't expect any trailers or marketing material from the event, but Bungie is sending 6 people to give talks on their fields, and if any of those talks are like last year's GDC, then they'll be full of interesting images and will have a decent amount of info for me to analyze. GDC starts March 17th, and I'll put up another video discussing their panels and such when we get closer to that date. Final question, Cobra Commander asks, are we there yet? Deej says, we are not there yet. Every week brings us closer. Over the next 8 weeks, Luke will implore me to walk the floor more often, and watch as what you will call Destiny emerges. So once again, mentioning the 8 weeks. Then he says, I'll share what I can. Again, you must remember that my job is not to spoil your fun. It will be much more rewarding for you to say, look what I found, than it would be to say, listen to what Deej told me. I would like to stress that bit actually. People often complain about the lack of info, and I do agree that it can be frustrating at times, especially in relation to game features and such, but we also want Destiny to surprise us a bit, I'm sure. I mean, my channel is based on news and info, yet I still hope there's things left undiscovered until launch, that we can be surprised by in-game. Anyway, to end it off, Deej says he and Urk will be leaving the Crow's Nest again this week, traveling to enlist more powerful allies in their quest for world domination. They'll share their adventures when it seems appropriate, but their objective remains top secret. Now, what do you guys think about the whole 8-week thing? I feel like it could definitely be the beta. I mean, the way everything was worded, it certainly sounded like it. Or it could also just be the announcement of it, although I hope that's not the case. Exactly 8 weeks would be April 25th. If that really is the date of the beta, that wouldn't actually be this summer like they've said. And it's earlier than I expected, but I certainly would not be complaining. Having the beta many months before would be really awesome in my opinion. I mean, of course it would be great to play it, but I mean for the good of the game itself as well. It would actually be a true beta, where Bungie would have time to take the feedback we give them and put it into the game. Not like those server stress tests publishers like to call betas, like Battlefield, Titanfall, and many others have done. I'm sorry, but when you have a beta 1 month before the game is in our hands, and your game is about to start getting printed on discs, that is not a beta at all. That is basically the final build. It is worth mentioning that Bungie's last game, Halo Reach, had quite an extensive beta as well, which released on May 3rd, 2010. The game itself released September 14th. So if April 25th is the actual date for Destiny's beta, that is a very, very similar time frame to what they did with Reach. I think that actually adds a lot of credibility to this. Anyway, I think this is pretty exciting, and I'm really looking forward to hearing more in the coming weeks. Before I go, I wanted to say a huge, heartfelt thank you to everyone supporting my What We Know So Far video. The response has been so amazing, it really has. There are so many nice comments coming in, I can't even keep up with it. Although I am reading them, so don't stop commenting. Also, all the likes pouring in, it's past my channel's record in only 2 days, with now over 4,500 likes. And at this moment, it has about 45,000 views, which is incredible. A giant thank you to Deej for posting it on Twitter and Facebook. To have him email me like an hour after I uploaded it, saying, wow, this is impressive, and then share it with everyone the next day, was really an incredible feeling, and made my night and weekend, and still means so much. And then Marty O'Donnell watched it, and shared it on Twitter as well, which is just as amazing. I've been a huge fan of him forever. I doubt they'll watch this video, but thank you guys so much. Also, a really big thanks to the people who posted it on various subreddits, websites, Twitter, everything. It's so incredible seeing my video pop up on random places and getting well received. It's really cool. And then of course, thank you all again for watching it and leaving supportive comments. I appreciate every single one. One last thing to say, we did just pass 40,000 subscribers, which is awesome. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching all my videos. It really means the world to me. I plan to do a game night on the PS4 and Xbox 360, since those are the two consoles I have. Expect a video on that soon. Now, I think I've rambled on quite long enough. This was supposed to be a quick video, but I don't seem capable of doing that. If you actually made it this far, then I applaud you and thank you for that too. But that's everything for this video. Thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next update.